It's Friday.
It's Friday.
It's Friday morning at the fair. You know what that means.
It's Cattle Show Day.
It is. It is cattle show day, says Toby. So you know what we should do? We should show some cattle.
That works for me. Grew up doing this. This is kind of my thing. It is out of all the animals that we have seen so far, with the goats and the pigs. This is the highest production. It's kind of like putting on a TV show. You got to get up an hour and a half earlier than maybe some of the other circumstances because you got to get your animal, steer, heifer. We did have a couple cow calves earlier. Get them down, get them rinsed off, get their hair blown out, and basically it's the dumb it down in the dumbest form I can think of. It's like putting hairspray in their hair and making it stay in one spot.
That's actually, it's funny. I made that observation the other day. It looked like they were getting a blowout professional styling done.
Yeah, and that's basically what it is. And that's where I say production side of it, for the show side. That's kind of like Ashley was talking about the hair the other day. You can hide a lot of things with hair. And it is a big production. I mean, and you're down there, an hour before the show starts, getting them ready, clipping their hair, pulling their hair up, forward, whatever. And there's a lot more to it than just walking into a ring and walking around in a circle, setting your calf up. And like I said, it's the biggest production that out of all the animals that there are. So just kind of a side story there behind it. Right now we're at the, I believe this is registered Shorthorn Plus heifer calf, and entry by Ollie Braun. And on the cattle side of it, there's a little bit different. There's different breeds. There's numerous different breeds, and then there's a Shorthorn Plus, and there'll be like later on there'll be Simmentals and percentage Simmentals. They divide it up into divisions that way, and different types of breeds, and it's kind of how they do it.
Single entry here in the Shorthorn Plus and I think this is a creature that could withstand some more competition. She's fighting the halter a little bit, but he's staying in there, and I commend him. He's doing a nice job and staying calm with her. She's just not acting the best, and cows have them days. But I think this is a very nice built creature. She's good-footed. She's good to the angle to her hock. She comes with the right kind of set to her knee up front. With that, set her into motion. She still stays balanced in proportional from the side, neat-necked, and gives a high tie and balanced look from the side. Go ahead and give the young man a nice round of applause.
And that was Ollie Braun with our champion Shorthorn Plus heifer. Ollie received a banner and a cash prize from Lehman Show Cattle. Next in will be our class of Simmental heifers.
Is it a coincidence that there's a Lehman Show Cattle?
That is my cousin Tom and Susie and Joe Lehman. That's donated by them. Addison's not showing this year at the fair.
Didn't she do really well last year, if I remember right?
Yeah, last year she won the show and took reserve overall at the Iowa State Fair. Quite the honor to be able to do that. There's only been, I think, 2 or 3 that have done that well at the state fair level, come from Muscatine. To my recent memory, to my memory. My sister did really well up there. She got reserve champion market heifer. And Addison has now added herself to the list of being number 1 or number 2 in the state. So, and then the one that she's got this year is better than the one she had last year. It's just they decided not to come to the county fair this year. And I totally support that and understand why. So,
She's playing travel show?
Yeah.
Like travel ball?
Yep. It's just, and I'm not trying to downplay any of the other exhibitors or anything, but, it's another opportunity for somebody else to step up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And get a chance to win. And that's not, trying to be egotistical or anything like that. It's just, it's an opportunity for another person to get out there and show what they got too. You know what I mean? So now we're looking at registered Simmentals. This is what I used to show when I was in 4-H and FFA, was Simmentals mostly. I did have a Kenia once in a while here or there or whatever, but when I was showing, they were all, like the second one, they were all red. They maybe have like some cream colors and stuff like that. Now they've generated towards black, and that's where the crossovers kind of come with the percentage Simmentals and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a different. They're different, a little bit different than other breeds. They're a little bit bigger normally. They don't normally move as well as some of the other animals do.
Well, and that's good because that makes them easier to catch, right?
Yeah.
When it's time to.
Yeah, something like that. But the entries here from Bree Moose. Is that what
And Mallory Brune right here,
And
number
Mallory
5,
Brune.
number 592 on your screen there.
And there's the red one, like what I grew up showing, more of the red. Like I said, and they've kind of crossed over into the black with the crosses over the years, and still been able to show as a purebred. So
I have decided after watching now, like these cows. Am I going to get in trouble for calling them cow?
heifers.
Heifers. Okay. Well. Okay. So, folks, before we go any further, because I've already made my first one, right?
Yep.
I have to fully admit, I know nothing about this.
Yep.
I know enough to be dangerous. I enjoy it. I'm having a blast. I'm learning a ton. But I grew up in the city.
Right.
And by the city, I mean Muscatine. I mean,
Right.
we're not talking,
As
Right.
we get out
New
here
York,
into the
Chicago.
Simmental heifers, I think there's 2 different types and kinds out here. But for me, I'm the most comfortable with the young lady's red calf. I think she's the most extreme in terms of her shape up high. She's bold in terms of her body. And it's actually a little deceiving because when you set her into motion, I know she just gets a shot high and tight about her spine. And that's direct correlation to her shorter hip, and she's chock full of muscle and shape, which is what the Simmental breed is known for. So yeah, she's gonna get a shot round, but when the young lady gets her to settle down and gets her propped up from the side, I think she's the best. She's the freshest in terms of the top side of her neck. And with that, she still comes with a neat look from the side. She comes with a little extra chest, but she's the bold-bodied, practical one that I think needs the win. And that's nothing to take away from the young lady's black calf, because she is the structural upgrade in terms of her hock and hind leg. She's better about the shape to her toe and reaches and grabs with more flex. And with that, she's balanced from the side when the young lady gets her parked. It's just for me, step in behind her. I think she's too flat to her body shape. Just needs to come with a little extra punch for me today. But go ahead and give them young ladies a great round of applause.
Our champion Simmental heifer was exhibited by Mallory Brun. Mallory received a banner and a cash prize from Swing Shift Simmentals.
Mallory
And our
Brun
reserve
taking
champion
home
was exhibited by Bree Muse.
champion
Next in will be
registered
our Foundation
Simmental heifer,
Simmental
yeah.
heifers.
Now
So-
we'll get into the. It'll be a percentage Simmental heifer that has got mostly Simmental in her and got a little bit of maybe like an Angus or
Gotcha.
cross with it. So,
Now, so what I was saying earlier, folks, is I first of all, I can guarantee you I will say something stupid over the next few hours during this broadcast that makes no sense in this world. I apologize in advance. But hopefully it'll at least be semi-entertaining
yes.
to watch me learn and
And like I
on to
say,
this.
I mean, I learned a lot, with the goats. I had very little knowledge. I had, let's say, like on a golf cart, par for pigs. Over here, I would say, I probably got a 2 or 3 handicap over here. I know quite a bit about the beef industry.
You don't know much about golf, though, do you?
Why?
Well, because if you're at
Well, I wanna-
par,
I even-
if
I
you're
wanna
at par,
even-
if
yeah.
you're at par and then you have a handicap, that means you're over par.
True.
So that means you know less about cows
Yes.
than goats?
No, not necessarily. Pigs.
Bo-
Pigs.
Less
say I
than
have
either of
a-
those about golf.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, there you go.
So that's what you're in for today, folks.
Yep.
Toby and I have known each other a long time. It's going to be like two guys sitting on your couch talking about cattle.
Cattle.
Go
Going
for
back and forth and
Yeah.
having fun with it.
And we're going to have fun. Again, I apologize in advance if I say something that makes absolutely no sense.
So here with the Foundation Simmentals, we have entries from Sky Stoll, Caitlin Thiede, and Anna Nolman. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to quote it, don't quote me on this, but because I haven't been able to talk to Joe, but I'm pretty sure the Nolman heifer probably came from Joe Lehman. And he's going to have a hard time here, I think. Looking at the last two is, they each got their own thing that they look really good at. A little bit different, but depends on what he wants, because I could see him going a lot of different ways here. In the way he's been talking, I think he's going to lean towards Nolman, but and like I said earlier, this is like, if you can kind of see some of the biggest production type things on these animals with the way that their hair's standing on their legs and pulling them out and trying to get them as straight as possible, and with them able to move and function properly out in the pastures. He's, like I said, he's going to have a hard time deciding which way he wants to go here, I think. What's the age difference here? So we got a January heifer from Anna Nolman, a February heifer from Caitlin Thiede, and a March heifer from Sky Stoll.
Okay, so talk to me about the, let's call it life cycle. So these cows are all, what, 5 months old?
No, this would be a year, almost a year, yeah.
Almost,
Yeah.
wait, when are they?
February would be February of 23, and then...
so a year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half.
Year and a
Since
half,
we got
okay.
3 out here in the Foundation Simmental class and drive, I'll go ahead and just describe the livestock, and then I'll show you which 2 that I like. We're starting off with the young man up front. That's a nice built, stout featured kind of a creature who's good about her feet and legs and comes with a neat neck and ties her neck high out the top side of her shoulder, is right in her chest. Just for me, maybe today, she doesn't quite just have the same kind of body shape and just spread as the 2 behind her, but that is a creature that'll make a very nice cow for the young man down the road. The young lady with the baldy heifer This one from the side, I think is awesome from her shoulders back. Her body is so round, and she comes with a lot of shape and spread out the top side of her shoulder and has a big stout hip. Lays her tail head nice and neat in her, and from the side her hind leg sits down, and it allows her to balance and proportion from the side, set her into motion. Maybe she's just not quite as stable as I would like to see. Tracks a little narrow from behind, but still reaches and goes with more than enough mobility. And with that, I think she just maybe gets a little crestier at the top side of her neck. Maybe just isn't as great looking as another one out here. But man, that thing's body shape and just cow power is going to be immense as she matures. Young lady's black and white calf, and this is a first impression kind of creature in my mind. She hit the ring, and yeah, she's loud marked, so she's gonna grab your eye. But that young lady gets her head jerked up, and she gets and moves across the ring. It's her silhouette from the side is something to truly appreciate. And then stepping behind her, she doesn't lack any sort of body. She's stout in her hip, and comes with more of the turn and shape to her upper and lower rib. And catch her from the side, the way she ties her neck high out the top side of her shoulder, and then her chest sits in her right, and her body proportions back correctly. And maybe if I were to change her, I think with that looking extension up front, she wants to get a little tilted forward in the angle to her shoulder, and she gets a little smaller in her ankle at the ground, and I think that affects her sometimes when she wants to push down and plant. But man, the first impression, good-looking, bold-bodied one, that's the one that's going to win the Foundation Scimitals for me. Go ahead and give her a congratulations. For reserve, it's going to be the young lady right in front of her. That kind of body shape matches the one that wins, and she's more than good enough on her feet and legs. Go ahead and give her a round of applause.
Yeah, that those are probably the two best females I've seen so far today, in my personal opinion.
Anna Nolman exhibited
could go
our
either way with
champion
that, in my
Foundation
opinion, as
Simmental
well.
Heifer. Anna received a banner and a cash prize from
I
Lehman Show
wouldn't
Cattle.
object
And
to
our
either
reserve
way, but I
champion,
probably do
Foundation
agree with him
Simmental, was
today,
exhibited by Caitlin
especially with the
Beatty.
way he's been talking about
Our
head
third
and
place
neck,
exhibitor in the class
and,
was Sky Stoll.
and that goes back to femininity, and
We are now ready to start
kind of thought
in
that would
on
be the
our,
way he would go.
Commercial heifers. Our first class into the ring will be our lightweight class.
So now we'll be getting into commercial heifers, and this is basically heifers that have different combinations of different breeds. That's the commercial side of it, kind of like on the gilt side yesterday, the commercial gilts, kind of the same thing. And this is normally the most popular class because, you know, you can get the best out of all the worlds. Each individual breed has their own characteristics that, you know, are what they're for, and this is more for the commercial division. You know, the commercial division is more for sometimes raising the animals for steers and to go to the state fair and stuff like that. So,
Okay, so these are all still that year and a half
yep.
ish mark.
Mm-hmm. In the commercial division, you're normally weighed. They normally do it by weight.
Right, but they're all probably still going to be about that same age.
Yeah, they're all going to be about the same age. Yes.
So then, these are commercial, so that means they're going to be. These are the breeding.
Right. These are still breeding, and they're, you know, most of these animals should be pregnant to give birth. You know, and you do like that 9. You know, they'll give birth, and like if they're bred now, it'll be probably like a March calf. You know, and for them to come out.
And what's the, I'm going to say useful life of a breed? Like, how long will they be able to do that?
You know, you could go, you know, and depending on, you know, the cow itself and what type, you know, you could get 8 years out of it, good 8-9 years out of a cow. Some
and
go
like one a year?
Yeah, 1 calf a year. Yep, 1 calf a year. That's the difference between pigs. You know, you can have one pig last 10 years, you know, so to say.
And put out
8 to 12 pigs. So
a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, those things are almost like bunnies.
Yeah, almost. Yeah.
Holy cow! Yeah, that's so. I would have never realized that. Like, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
I know cattle has a decently long life, or
Right.
not lifespan per se,
Right.
but like
It's kind of like a dog.
time to grow.
It's kinda
you
like
know
a
what I
dog,
mean? Like,
yeah.
to get to the point where you need to. But I didn't realize at all that pigs were
Yes.
such a. I mean, they're almost like flies.
Yes.
Like,
Boom, boom. Yep. Cattle are more like humans. For births. I mean, like, you only give one. You only get one
Right,
kid
right,
at a
right,
time.
right.
And
Are there
pigs-
ever twins?
Yes, there are twins.
Okay, I would say because
Um,
it seems like that would be the same kind of biology that would carry over.
Yep.
Split.
Yep. And if you do get like a set of twins and one's a heifer and one's a bull, normally the heifer is not able to breed. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's just the way it is. I mean, I don't know the science behind it. I guess, but that's just the way it works. She bought it at Swing Shift Simmentals. Oh, cool. That's cool. So Swing Shift Simmentals, Ron Cox, one of my dad's best friends, known each other for years and years and years. Both lifelong Jets fans.
What?
Yeah, but
That's about like me being a Michigan fan.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that happen?
Ron Cox. He and his daughter Haley is actually in there helping with the ring today. I got a funny story about Ron Cox. So when I was growing up, my dad, we had this bull named Ivanhoe, and we used to take him to all these different shows, and he did, for whatever reason, he just did not like Ron Cox. I mean, he did not like him, and we got to a point where, we babied him so much, and he got so big, and he didn't realize that he was going to hurt people when he was playing with us, and so we ended up having to put him down. So when we took him to get slaughtered, it was, and we kept his hide and everything because it was kind of a big deal. And we took him to get, and Cox and Ron, my dad, Ron, both Rons, ironically, went and saw him. And when he was hanging there, after an animal dies, they have muscle twitches and stuff every once in a while. It was funny because when he was hanging there, he hit Cox in the back of the head. And Cox was like, "I think he hates me. He's dead, and he still hates me." It was kind of funny, but it's a funny story with Ron Cox and my dad go way back. So. So yeah, folks, just a little side story with my dad and Ron Cox. Thought you might get a little kick out of that Cox got picked on by a bull, and even after he was gone, after the bull was gone, like a bull still picked on him. So kind of a funny story, but yeah, Ron Cox and my dad go way back. Swing Shift Simmentals here out of Attalus, Iowa. He spent a lot of time, money, energy in his business, and they do sell animals very well.
As we get out
across
here
the
into
state.
the first
So,
class of commercials, the lightweights, I'm actually going to leave them as they stand. I was about to tell the young lady before her heifer knocked her down that she actually won the class, and that's just for me based on looseness of flexibility. When the lady first walked in the ring, that creature is awesome, and she was holding on to her. Yeah, you keep up the hard work. You're doing awesome. But when she first came into the ring, her looseness as skeleton, it was incredible in my mind, and that's what notches her over the one in second. And with that, she is deep in terms of her body shape. And yeah, she carries a little extra leather, but I don't think that'll matter in the pasture. And that kind of body shape and flexibility is what good cattle need to be. And I think that thing's just brood cow practical look is what allows her to win this class. The young man brings a stout featured, way stouter than the one that wins, I can admit. She's way bolder in terms of her body, comes with more spread up high, stouter in her hip, It's just with that, I think that hinders her a little bit. She's shorter and choppier out of her hip and hind leg, and then with that, she gets too upright and laid back and angle to her shoulder and just doesn't want to track and move with the same kind of mobility as the one that wins. Go ahead and give them a great round of applause.
Okay, so again, question from ignorance: when they slaughtered the bull, do you still meet?
Oh yeah, we still got
First
the meat out
place
of
in
it.
our
Yeah,
we
first
still
class
use the meat out of it.
of a lightweight
But it was just
commercial
funny
heifer
that-
So he did get
was
his
exhibited
last
by
say.
Bree
Yeah, he
Thurman,
did.
And
Yeah.
second place, Hank Elam. Next up, we will have our first of 2 middleweight commercial heifers.
So now we're getting into the middleweight commercial heifer division with entries from Riley Rock in the Wilton FFA, weighing in at 1,096 pounds, and Savannah Finley from the Sweetland 4-H with 1,110 pounds for her commercial heifer.
These things are like 7-8 times their weight.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, the biggest production side, you got to break these animals to lead. You got to, break them, get used to a comb. If we had like a Scotch comb, that'd be nice to show. But it doesn't sound like much. But if you can imagine, if you're in a beauty salon and the comb goes through your hair and it might catch your skin, and every once in a while. You got to get them used to that. You got to get them used to other people. You got to get them used to, walking around in a ring. And the show stick, like I said earlier, that actually feels good.
Yeah, I would say this. The more I watch that show stick, I might get my wife one of those and just be like, yo, rub my belly with this.
But,
And
and that's what it's for. It helps keep them relaxed a little bit more. And, and like I said, it helps move their feet, obviously, because you want to get them set in the right direction. And
Okay, so one's standing still, the other's looping. Does that make a difference? Is that just like one,
one's just maybe not working, and then with it being a little bit cooler,
so
it
they
might
should
not
be
comfortable.
standing. They should be standing still now.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's
That's the-
just like a cow being a donkey.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. It's a pretty nice little red commercial heifer there of Riley's. And like I said, it's just more difficult. Like if you go over to the picture, you could have 5 or 6 different pigs under one exhibitor. It's a little bit more difficult to do that on this end with the amount of production that has to go into these animals to get them ready to walk into the ring. So.
And then, so these were, 1,000, 1,100 pounds, something like that?
Yeah, this is 1,096 and 1,110.
So when you take them to a locker, how much of that becomes like edible product?
Probably about 700.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
because I know when I get like a half or a quarter. A quarter is usually
Right.
150.
Depends on how
200.
much burger you want out of it.
Right.
and, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's kind of about what I was thinking.
Yep. You can get,
If you can just,
you could turn the whole thing into burger if you wanted to.
if you qualify this, like as we talk, just put everything in terms of hamburger, steak. I'll be good.
Yep.
Now that side of the cattle world, I know pretty well.
Right. Roasts and, and steaks and burger.
And to quote Kelsey Meyer this morning, there's a lot at stake in this show.
Oh gosh, yes.
Get
it's
steak.
another thing-
No, come on, you didn't even.
Yeah, I got it.
You know
I
what?
got
You know
it.
what's
I got
funny?
it.
She even said when she said it, nobody
Yeah.
picked up. There's a lot at stake.
Yep. A lot of steak.
Okay, I'm
And-
not using that again, Kelsey. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That
It's
went
all
over
good.
like a turd in a punch bowl.
And
Cow pie in a punch bowl.
yeah, there you go. Cow
There we
pie.
go.
There you go. And then one thing I didn't get a chance to recommend yesterday.
I guarantee you, this is the only cattle show broadcast around that brought up cow pie in punch. Right?
Right.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. One thing I didn't get a chance to talk about yet so far is the overall champion pig yesterday, the overall champion goat from the day before, the overall champion breeding heifer and breeding steer. Same for both goats and pigs. There's what they call a showdown, and there's 5 different counties
Here in the
that will bring
second
their
class here,
animals
commercial
down there.
heifers, both young ladies are doing an awesome job getting their cattle shown and giving me good looks. It's just for me, the red heifer best suits me. Catch her from the side. She's awesome in terms of her balance, high tie and neat about her neck. And with that, she comes back with the right kind of body shape out of her forerib and comes back soft into her rear rib and flank. If I were to change her a little bit, set her into motion, I do think she just gets a shot short out of her hip, maybe just a little upright in her hock. But I think that one parked from the side gives the kind of look and balance and proportionality that I'm after. Young lady in second undoubtedly brings us a brood cow, if you want to go ahead and pull along around. Undoubtedly brings us a brood cow, kind of a heifer. She's practical in her build. She's good built and practical and good in her body shape. It's just for me, I think she comes with a little extra navel, a little shot extra leather up front, and just doesn't balance with the same kind of look as the one that wins. Go ahead and give them a great round of applause.
Okay, so you were saying, Toby, about the showdown?
Oh, the showdown. And what they'll do is they'll go to Washington. I believe it's Washington that they go to, and then all 5 counties put together, and they have an overall champion and out
Now,
of all the
in
counties.
a showdown like that, is that like bare
First place
knuckles?
in our
Is
first
it?
class of
Do
middleweight
you
commercial
cross
heifers,
like?
that's
Do the
exhibited
cows get to
by
take on the
Riley Rock,
donkeys? Do
and
the
second
No.
place,
No.
Savannah Finley.
But what they do is
Next up, we will have a second
they'll take
class
the individual
of middleweights.
pig, like say the grand champion pigs from yesterday, and they'll go up against the grand champion pigs from Washington County.
Yep.
And see, I believe it's Cedar County, Washington County. Not 100% sure on who all the counties are, but it's kind of cool. We never had anything like that when I was doing it. It's kind of a mini state fair type thing, with the 5 counties. It's something for the kids to get out and compete against other counties.
Almost kind of like a district-y sort of a
Yeah,
thing?
there you go, like a district champion.
Or sub-state
Yep, sub-state.
kind of a thing?
It's kind of cool. And they do it outside. It's it's really neat how they do it, and they make a big production out of it down there too. So, and here we are in our picking this is our champion. No, we're not doing a champion middleweight. We're just doing, okay. So this is our second class of middleweight commercial breeding heifers with Madison Wyatt from the Muscatine FFA with a heifer that weighs 1,210 pounds, and Rebecca Hall from Wapsie 4-H with a heifer that weighs 1,250 pounds. And ideally, you don't want to get much bigger than this for a cow. I learned that the hard way at the state fair with a market heifer that weighed 1,235 pounds and was told she was the best market heifer in this fair, but she was too big. I lost my show stick that day, and I did not get showmanship that day. We'll just say that. Because the show stick went flying, and I was mad. Can't tell me I'm the best heifer in the state, and I'm too big. Is a steak too big? Have you ever had a steak that's too big?
The answer to that is a resounding no.
Yeah, that was not a good day in my life. Ended up working out okay because we did get a couple nice calves out of her. Because when you are at the state fair, one thing that, if you're the Grand Champion State Fair steer or like Reserve Grand Champion State Fair steer, rolls over into the market heifer side as well, your animal is carcassed at the state fair. So you don't get to bring it home. And on the market heifer side, I couldn't bring her home to breed her to have calves, if you know what I mean. She would have died and been slaughtered at the state fair. So that was a plus. That was the one thing that my dad kept telling me is, dude, we can have calves out of her now. We can have calves out of her now. And I'm like, yeah, but I wanted to win.
So wait. So the cow that run that by me again.
Yeah. So the steers,
the cow that wins,
right, at the market heifer side, not on the breeding side, on the market heifer side. That one gets slaughtered, and then they could take it to it goes to Ames, and they break it down, and they kind of use it at Ames as like how to judge, a carcass.
So basically, you win and you die.
Yep. If you're a market side. Now on the breeding side is a little bit different. You win and
Man, you'd think they get like a pardon or something. Like, send number 2.
yeah, send number 2.
Right. Like,
Right.
I'm not volunteering for tribute on that.
No. No. But then again, on the market side, if you have a steer, you're not going to live past a year anyway, because their teeth start to fall out, and they can't eat, and they can't, they just can't be fundamental. Yeah.
Wait, run that all by me again?
Okay, so you'll get a steer, and their lifespan isn't going to last as long as a heifer anyway. And
Here in the second class of
so what happens with a steer, their teeth start to fall out, and they can't eat. It's something to do with when you castrate them. I don't know the science behind it, to be honest with you. But
the way she ties
so
her neck
their
high
lifespan
up the
is
top
a
side
year.
of her shoulder is really, really good. And that thing is big-legged, big-footed, and moves with quite a bit more mobility than I initially thought when the young lady gets her out and goes. It's just for me, and she's stout out of her hip. It's just if you study her in the center portion of her body, she gets just a shot lower right out of her shoulder, and she's tighter and harder in terms of her heart, which is just makes her look a little more flatter in terms of her forerib. But you step off her, she still comes with enough turn to her lower rib. That's a nice place to start in this class. The young lady out here in second comes with a looseness of structure, kind of a female who gives you a balanced look from the side, and she still comes with some shape to her body. It's just for me, I think her looseness of build maybe comes just a shot easier to her because study her. She's a little more forward in the angle to her shoulder and the way she ties, and just gets flat at the top side of her skeleton. Just doesn't come with the punch that the one that wins. Go ahead and give them a young round of applause.
And then we should be getting into now our last class of commercial breeding heifers.
Every year I try to get him to do it too and never do it.
In our second class of middleweight commercial heifers, first place went to Rebecca Hall and second Madison Wyatt. And we now will have our heavyweight commercial heifers.
Heavyweight commercial heifers with exhibits from Grady Clausen from Independent Commercial Heifer weighing 1,280 pounds, and Anna Nolman from Wapsie 4-H.
For the 14th year, the 4-H and FFA ribbon auction will be held tomorrow over in the Small Swine Show Ring. The auction starts at 1:30 p.m. The purpose of this auction is to give individuals and businesses a chance to support 4-H and FFA members who exhibit beef, swine, sheep, meat, goats, and broiler derbies for their efforts in preparing their animals for the fair. Over 100 4-H and FFA members will be auctioning off the ribbons they have earned. Those interested in additional details can contact either Ben Danner, a beef, swine, sheep, or meat goat superintendent, or the livestock office outside the large show ring. Again, that is the ribbon auction, which will be tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. in the Small Swine Show Ring.
And the second exhibitor is Anna Nolman with a commercial from Wapsie 4-H commercial heifer of 1,343 pounds. That's a big cow. Be interesting to see which way he goes here as well. There's things I like about both these animals. I wish I could take the body of the second one and put it on the front end of the first one. Be interesting. I'm thinking he's probably going to leave them like they are, first place, Clausen second place. Nolman just from the way he's been talking all day, but yep, that's just the way he's been talking today. I mean, I could see it going the other way with a different guy, different judge, but the way he's been talking all day, he's going to like more of the characteristics of the Clausen heifer. So
Definitely some challenge in sort here in the last class of commercials, because there's no doubt that these are two different kinds. It's just for me, I think in terms of just overall elegance, balance, look, in the way she gets out and keeps her spine together in motion, allows this one to win for me. Catch her from the side. She's ultra good in the way she ties her neck out of her shoulder, comes back with the right kind of body and maternal sweep, and sets her tail head good enough. I think maybe it could come a shot down into her, and it would just allow her to balance a nickel better. But that thing's body shape, she's the complete, good-footed, good-built one in my mind. With that being said, the young lady heifer in second definitely gave me some challenge, because there's some things that I love. That thing's hind leg is gigantic. She's big-footed, and to be honest with you, she pushes and plants pretty well. It's my problem is her hip. She's just a shot shorter. She pushes her spine and ducks her pins just a little bit, and with that, I think her chest sits just a shot lower because she's not soft enough into the center portion of her body, and just ties her neck a nickel lower out of her shoulder. But beyond that, that thing's feature and turn to her upper skeleton and shape in her upper hip is definitely something that I appreciate. It's just she doesn't have the same kind of balance as the one that, and look, is the one that wins. Go ahead and give them a nice round of applause.
yeah, the first one's the heifer from Clausen, Grady, was a little bit more profile and tighter neck in better, like he was saying. And Anna Nolman
Grady
has
Clausen
got
was first place in our heavyweight commercial heifer class, and
definite
Anna
steer
Nolman was
sire on
second.
her hands.
We will
I mean,
now
that
be
thing
selecting
went
our champion commercial breeding heifers.
big bone, big structured. I mean, that's going to make a lot of good steers for her. Getting in now to pick our champion commercial heifer. Entries from Bree Thurman, I believe Riley Rock, or no, that's Savannah Finley, and then Rebecca Hall and Grady Clausen. There's things I really like about that red heifer, though. And once again, we will be taking a break after the heifers are done, after they pick the top 5 heifers, and we'll be coming back at noon, I believe, is what Joe was saying this morning. Definitely going to get a good break between the two. Got to be able to sell those ribeye sandwiches. Because the cattlemen will be producing selling ribeye sandwich meals today.
Would you help him know what to have the camera on while I go use the restroom? We're just gonna use the one camera, but
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. It'll be interesting. I think he'll probably go with Grady's heifer here, but I've been wrong before. So the problem with going without Grady's heifer is he can't bring that steer sire. That's going to be a massive steer sire. I mean, she's going to do a really good job producing steers of Anna Nolman's if he doesn't use Grady's. And I think that's going to be the hardest part for him, is not to bring her back into the ring for a reserve commercial heifer. But there's a lot of things I really do like about the red heifer here. And I'm a sucker for red. I've always said that I wanted to find a red heifer somewhere and beat all the black ones. As he evaluates, like I said, this is a tough decision. And he's made up his mind. There's some really neat things about that red heifer that I really like. But I think he'll end up going with Grady's.
Here in the commercial drive, I'm happy with the way they stacked up with the 4 that I've got out here. I think they all are a good representation of where they were in their class. I just think for me, the young man's down here on the end is going to be your champion. She's just she's overwhelming in terms of body, look, and her skeletal build is very, very good. That's a nice creature to win. Go ahead and bring that second place in. And I'll take another look.
Heifers just aren't working well today with the guys. I can't get them to stand still, so it's kind of hard to. I myself like to evaluate better when they're on the move, but yeah, he's going back to this red heifer too. But it's going to be really hard to separate those two with Anna's.
As we bring that second place in that respected class, I talked how I really liked some of the pieces of that one. She's got a big hind leg. She's so stout out of her hip. And I just think that there's some unique things that the young lady will be able to breed on this one down the road. And I think she can create a creature out of this one that will do her well. With that being said, she'll be your reserve.
Yeah, like I said, she's going to make a good steer mama. So something to be happy with there for Anna for reserve commercial as well. Take nothing away from the young lady with the red heifer. She sets in so nice with her neck and overall appearance, and she'll be able to breed some nice animals to come out of that heifer as well. Now we're going to work our way into The Supreme Champion heifer and the Reserve
Our
Supreme
champion commercial heifer is exhibited by Grady Clausen. Grady received a banner and cash prize from Fraunhold's Show Cattle, and our reserve went to Anna Nolman. And we are now ready to begin our Supreme Champion drive.
And that'll be Supreme Champion heifer, Reserve Supreme Champion heifer, and 3rd, 4th, and 5th overall. Supreme Champion heifer, you will receive award the Danny DeVille Memorial Trophy, banner donated by Heartland Co-op, award donated by Muscatine County Association, and Reserve Supreme, banner donated by Howard and Glenda Dobbins, award donated by Muscatine County Cattlemen's Association, and of course a cash prize as well there. 3rd overall, award donated
As
by...
we've got our champions coming into the ring, I'd like to take a minute to thank everyone who helped to get this show put on today. First of all, we have our judge, Levi Meadows. Thank you for being here. Thank you to our superintendents, Monica Danner and Justin Stecker, our assistant superintendents, Joe Lehman, Ron Cox, and Mark Thiede. And we appreciate having our Muscatine County Fair Queen and Princess here. They are Avery Schroeder and Rayleigh Hazen. Our ring attendants today are Haley Cox and Jake Draves. And a big thank you to all of the 4-H and FFA members and your parents, guardians, family, friends who have helped get everyone up here and have a great show this morning. Thank you very much. And we will be doing a showmanship for the breeding division once we have our Supreme Champion selected.
And this is just for Supreme overall that brings back each divisional champion. And then he's got to go through and evaluate what he likes best about each animal and decide who the best overall in his mind is today. And you'll see a ring full of cattle. Because it'll be full.
The champions we have coming into the ring are the cow-calf champion is exhibited by Sawyer Clausen, Jalen Goddard with the American Aberdeen champion, Sawyer Clausen with the Angus champion, Dalton Rock with the Maintainer champion, Jalen Goddard had the Shorthorn champion, our Shorthorn Plus champion was exhibited by Ollie Braun, the Simmental champion by Mallory Brunn, our Foundation Simmental Heifer champion was Anna Nolman, and Grady Clausen with our champion commercial.
So now he'll have to decide what he wants to do here for overall champion. I really like the Simmental heifer from Swing Shift Simmentals, as I was corrected on earlier. Personally, I really like that Angus heifer calf of Clausen's. It'll be interesting to see which way he goes. There's Addie. She is showing. For Clausen, of course. Clausen's commercial heifer should be in the hunt as well, I would think, for overall. Yeah, I really like that Swing Shift Simmental heifer. And I like the cow-calf, too, a lot. It'll be interesting to see which way he does go. Commercial heifer's
And
nice
just to let
as
everyone
well.
know, we will be doing showmanship for the breeding heifer show immediately following this. We will start with seniors and then the juniors. Anyone who has exhibited so far this morning who's interested, please stick around and do that. And then we will be taking a break, and we will begin the market beef show at noon. Again, the market beef show will start at noon today. We will be taking a break once we finish breeding showmanship.
And, you know, to kind of dumb it down a little bit, the walking that they do is to see how functional they'll be out in a pasture, to see if they can move easy with an animal in their belly, for a lack of better words. So.
Also, as we're coming up on our break, just to let you know, the Muscatine County Cattlemen have a stand set up just on the north side of the show barn here. They have ribeye steak sandwiches, and they are ready to start serving whenever you get hungry.
I just can't get over the prizes they win. I mean, come on. I mean, that's a nice chair. I mean, and on the back of it, it'll say Supreme Champion Heifer from the Muscatine County Fair. You know, and you get a banner, and you get a little speaker, you know, as you go down the line, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff that these guys get to win now. Not very often do you see cow calves entered in for the Supreme Championship drive. Normally that's a division by itself, but it's unique about the county fair level. I think he's going to have a hard time not going with that cow-calf pair, because she does have proof of what she's done with that, that calf. That calf's going to be really good down the road. But he has made his mind up, I believe, and he's heading over to the mic right now.
As we get out here into the Grand Heifer Drive, it's definitely been an honor and a pleasure, and it's been challenging. While the class haven't been big, there has been a lot of quality within them and some sort and differences. I'll go ahead and just give a brief description of where my mind's at in terms of the livestock, and then I'll get you a top 5. Starting off with the cow-calf pair. Initially, when that thing walked in the ring this morning when I first got here, I digged her, and I still do. I think her look and the neatness to her neck, and she still is in awesome condition to be. She's in awesome condition to be at that age and maturity. She's awesome in her udder and comes back with more than enough body and shape and big in her hip. And with that, all the neat pieces that she possesses, she's made the next generation with them. She's doing her job. She's made a nice heifer calf who's good about her feet and legs, good in her body, and gives the right kind of look and proportionality from the side. That's a cow-calf pair that I definitely believe will be in contention here in a little bit. Moving on to the Aberdeen. This thing came in and she was just practical, good-bodied, sound in terms of her hind leg. And with that, still gives a neat look from the side. it's just for me today, maybe she just gets out-performanced. She just lacks a little performance. I think she just, with that, the Aberdeens are supposed to be smaller, and I get that. I just don't think that she offers the same kind of just overall pizzazz and look as a couple of others, but that's very, very nice cattle in her own right. The Angus. This fall calf hit me hard when she came in. She comes with a lot of look and a lot of spread and shape. And for me, I think like just the turn in shape at the bottom side of her skeleton is very, very good for her age. But if I'm being honest, I think maybe she just pushes a shot a little more condition for me right now to be this young. But man, if they can keep her to hold together, her look and design from the side and build will keep her competitive undoubtedly. The mane. I thought this thing was a very big, stout featured creature who's ultra round in her shape, big out of her hip. And with that, she travels and moves better than a guy would think when you come in with that kind of just bone, and maybe her hawk and shape is a little weird, but she pushes and plants okay, and still gives a nice look from the side. It's just maybe today she's not just the softest in terms of the center portion of her body, maybe just gets a little more cresty at the top side of her neck, doesn't balance the same way as a couple others do out here, but that's a very nice animal, again, in her own regard. The Shorthorn, I dig this thing in terms of where she's at in terms of her condition. I think it's okay for these calves to be a little skinnier at this point. It'll allow them to grow. I think we maybe get them a little fatter early. They don't quite grow with the same kind of like performance at the end of the day. So I think she's right in terms of her condition. She's skinny, neat-necked, and young man does an awesome job getting her stuck and gives me a nice balanced look from the side. The Shorthorn Plus. This thing is just like, she's flat-haired, but in terms of basic cattle, she's very, very nice. Feet and legs are good. She ties her neck high out the top side of her shoulder. Her chest sits in her right. Maybe she's not just the most pulled apart and brood cowish one out here, but man, just in terms of feet and legs, that's a very, very nice creature. The Simmental. This thing is just chock full of muscle, and I said that earlier, and I know they're breeding heifers, but she comes with a tremendous amount of upper hip and just shape and spread, and maybe that hinders her a little bit at times in motion, but when the young lady can get her set up, she does give a very neat look. And I appreciate her stoutness of feature and her toe shape at the ground. The Black and White Foundation Simmental, man, still, I said she was a first impression kind of heifer when she hit the ring, and it was the same way out here in drive. It's just, she's so elegant in terms of the way she ties her neck out the top side of her shoulder. And no, she's not the skinniest, the longest, but it fits the rest of her body. She's stout-hipped, she's bold-bodied, and yeah, maybe she's just got a little extra throat and a little extra into her chest, but it fits her. It allows her to balance in proportion. But in my mind, get her out here. The one question I got, is her ankle good enough? Set her into motion. She just gets a shot upright on her ankle and wants to pop, and maybe just doesn't push and plant with this enough stability. But I think, man, that thing from the side and just what she represents for the Simmental breed is very high quality. The Commercial, man, just screams brood cow. So bold-bodied, stout in her upper hip. You study her from the three-quarter view. She undoubtedly is the boldest and the most opened up at the base of her forerib. And with that, she stays dense in her heart. She's right in the way that her chest sits in her. And maybe she's not just the biggest legged one out here, but I think her feature still matches her body shape, and she gets out and goes with a lot of mobility. With that being said, I'll go ahead and take one look around, and I'll show you the top 5 that I like. Go ahead and give them a great round of applause.
With the way he talks, it sounds like he's going to go commercial heifer as your champion. And then maybe cow-calf Simmental. I mean, it's going to be the cow-calf, I've been told, was reserve champion overall cow-calf at the National Angus Junior Show. So it's going to be pretty hard to get around that one as well. So and one thing that takes a little bit more time here is, he's probably got 1 and 2 picked out, but he's got to decide where he wants to go after that with 3, 4, and 5. So he's not just picking 1 and 2 right now. He is going to go with the Simmental of Nolman's as your supreme champion female. And reserve champion will be Grady Clausen with the commercial heifer. Perry Lehman coming in now. And Caitlin Thiede. He's got to go Angus now, cow-calf third. Man, just sitting here looking at Caitlin Simmental, I really like her as well. Angus heifer for 4th overall. I think he'll end up going with a reserve commercial for 5th overall. So he does have his top 5. Like I said, We will be doing junior showmanship, breeding heifers, senior and junior showmanship after this, after the presentation of your Supreme Champion heifer. I'm sure they'll go out there and get their pictures taken and getting ready to rock and roll, but cow calf taking third overall.
Congratulations to our champions. Our Supreme Champion went to Anna Nolman with her Foundation Simmental. She received the Danny Delvaux Memorial Traveling Trophy, a banner from Heartland Co-op, an award from the Muscatine County Cattlemen's Association, and a cash prize from Countywide Ag of Atalissa. Reserve Champion went to Grady Clausen with the Commercial Heifer. Grady received a banner from Howard and Glenda Dobbins, and a cash prize also from the Dobbins, and an award from the Muscatine County Cattlemen's Association. Our third place overall went to Sawyer Clausen with the cow calf. Sawyer received an award from the Cattlemen's Association and a cash prize from Fred's Feed. Our fourth overall went to Sawyer Clausen with the Angus heifer, and he received an award from the Muscatine County Cattlemen's Association and a cash prize from Fred's Feed. And our fifth overall went to Anna Nolman with the Commercial heifer, and Anna received an award from the Muscatine County Cattlemen's Association and a cash prize from Monica Danner. And now we will be doing showmanship shortly. We will start with senior, followed by junior. And then we will be taking a break, and the Market Beef Show will begin at noon. If you want some lunch, the Muscatine County Cattlemen have their ribeye steak sandwiches set up on the north side of the show barn here.